Hey bibliophiles and those raising bibliophiles. Without ratings and warning labels, knowing which books are appropriate for your children to read is like navigating wild terrain without a map and a compass. I don't know about you, but I have been burned more than once handing my child a book that I thought was clean and appropriate for them to read. I'm a fellow mom, educator, reading specialist, and literary enthusiast trying to find great books for my children and yours to read. So if you're looking for a real review from a mom with a biblical worldview, then welcome and enjoy this week's book review. So this week's book review is A Wolf Called Wander by Rosanne Parry, and it is part of a Voice from the Wilderness, not quite a series, but there are several books that belong to this, all kind of based on true stories about actual animals. A Wolf Called Wander is one such story that is inspired by a wolf called Journey, who traveled a remarkable 1,000 miles across the Pacific Northwest. As the story opens, the main character is just a pup known as Swift, and he is exploring his world and learning his place within the pack. For about the first third of the book, the story centers around Swift and his family pack as he's kind of learning how to hunt, displaying his ability to run and be the fastest than the others that are in his pack. And he really develops this strong desire to one day lead his own pack and family. Of the many members within the pack, the one closest to him is his brother, Warm. Before I go any further, I'm just going to read a little bit of the opening of the book to you to give you a idea of the writing style. One thing that is absolutely adorable about this book as well is there are illustrations throughout. So that is just an added thing that kind of enhances the narration for the readers of this book, especially for young readers and middle grade readers. So first chapter is Pack. I begin in darkness, and my nose tells me everything I know. I have a brother, Sharp, bigger than me, and all growl. I have sisters, Pounce, who love to wrestle, and Wag, who talks with her tail. And best of all, my brother Warm, who likes to curl up under my chin, the only pup smaller than me. I nose each one of them in the damp dirt above and the dry grass below. I circle the den while the others drowse. I take test runs up the tunnel. They call me Swift because I was the first to stand up and walk. Wherever my legs take me, I always circle back to the empty hollow spot in the center of the den that smells like home, like the thing I can never smell enough. And then she comes in out of the wind, the best of all smells, Mother. She turns around once, nose touching each of us in turn, and then lies down in her hollow. Sharp, Pounce, and Wag dive for her belly to drink. I could have been first, but Mother's fur is full of smells, from her hip to her shoulder to her warm, growly breath. She holds smells with no name, smells that make me want to push beyond the place at the mouth of the tunnel where Mother has said, "Do not pass," and put my nose where the light comes from. I am late for lunch. Warm creeps towards the last drinking spot. I lunge for it, and then, drinking fast and strong, drinking gulps and drips and dribbles and gasps. Mother sings to us as we drink about the wide world beyond our den and the story of our life in the mountains. I take in her song like air, like milk. Pack, mountains, elk, stars, wind, rain, howl, hunt, mountains, pack. As always, Warm squirms under me in his low-to-the-ground way. He whimpers and pushes his head under my chin. Pop! My drinking spot is gone. Belly half full, I move on. I do not even try Sharp. He is big, and there is a bite behind all the loudmouth yowls. I nudge Pounce. She just steps on my head. Wag gives up her drinking spot when I push her away. Wag pushes Pounce, who pushes Sharp. And then he turns to Warm, teeth bared, and growls one word we all know, mine. Warm creeps away and curls up in the back of the den alone. One by one, we slide full-bellied into dreams. Before I do, I catch a sweet smell that gives me no peace. I yawn, lift my nose, and yes, there is more milk, and I can claim it. More, and if I drink it, I will grow to be even bigger than Sharp. I find just one swallow in every drinking spot, and now I know one thing. My brothers and sisters do not. Hind milk is the sweetest of all. I lick the last drops from my chin and curl my body around Warm so they will not step on him in the dark. Tell me again, I say to Mother. I point my nose to the tunnel. When can I go outside? It's wild and hungry out there on the home ground, Mother says. And you are tender and tasty, my wolfling, my own. Wait until you are bigger. She sighs at the soft pool of light that has spilled through the do not pass onto the den floor. Wait until you have a fighting chance. I stretch my nose towards the light and stifle the yawn that comes with the stretch. I don't want to wait. My sisters and brothers breathe the slow, deep breaths of sleep. My head bobs, but I fight. Tell me more. The pack belongs to the mountain, and the mountains belong to the pack, she begins, and the wolf star shines on us all. I listen, but the long and winding slide into the dreams carries me away. And so that's sort of the first part of chapter 1. One day, an intruding pack seeks to really rival and kill off this pack and take their territory. Swift's mother runs away with a new litter. His older brother kind of seeks to fight, and everyone essentially also kind of scatters or is killed. Swift stays long enough to fight and defend what he can, but he loses any sense of hope when he hears his father's final death howl, and his father's final words are carry on, carry on, carry on. And these sort of echo in the air and in the heart of Swift as he kind of runs from the mountain, and he's trying to seek survival. For several chapters, much is unknown of Swift's family. He is wandering himself around the forest, leaving a possible trail for Worm to follow. And he does attempt to take down an elk on his own, but that actually almost kills him. He befriends a raven, or maybe rather a raven sort of befriends him, and they slowly help each other, and Swift is able to slowly recover. As he travels, he does encounter some rogue wolves. He seeks to gain entry into their pack because they have a recent kill. However, as a bright light sort of in this particular moment, he does discover Worm, and their reunion is really sweet, but it's very short-lived as hunters appear and they kill the wolves that are eating and seeking after them. Eventually, they are separated once again, and Swift is really heartbroken to have lost Worm again, and what he also believes is probably his death by the hunters. So continuing in desperation, and he wanders, he does try to sustain himself. He talks about sort of being ashamed of the things that he eats, comparing himself to other lesser animals. He does come across a dog, which kind of confuses him because he's like, it's kind of like a wolf, but not a wolf. But he doesn't stay too long because a man with a rifle appears. Swift then comes across a female wolf that really delights him. He gets excited, but he's also fearful for her to cross the Black River, which is known as the Road. So he warns her off, and that kind of leaves him really sad as he kind of continues on his own little journey. If all of this wasn't really too much of a tragedy so far in his story, Swift does survive a forest fire that does eventually bring him back in contact with the she-wolf that he noticed earlier. And the story ends with the two of them becoming a family and the birth of his own set of pups. In his interactions with the she-wolf, the second time, she is known as Night, and he says to her that he is called Wander, marking sort of his full transformation as he has completed his journey and his aspirations to lead his own family. In all his travels, his father's lived example and message to carry on has led him to the end of the story and his new path. And so his father's example is really plays into his character as he's trying to find his own place. The story is definitely perfect for readers who love animal stories and stories that are told from their perspectives. Additionally, like I was saying, there are wonderful illustrations throughout that really just enhance the narration and the plot. Parents will be glad to know that there isn't any profanity or anything unsavory. There are also strong themes about leadership and definitely family, because Swift is continually seeking to follow and to live out that example that's been set by his father, which are all great messages for young readers. So if you are looking for a little more information about this book, I encourage you to check out my website at holdingsteadfastreaders.com. I do have a few quotes that I have pulled out from the book that you're going to find there, just to give you an idea of some of the themes and characterization that are pulled out in that. So I hope this review has been helpful for you trying to find great books for your children to read. I definitely recommend A Wolf Called Wander, and I hope that you join me next week for another book review.